Hey Spuddies, Potato McWhiskey here, and welcome back to Let's Play Civilization 6 as Cleopatra. We're playing the Ptolemaic Cleopatra, where we have +1 food and +1 culture for resources along floodplains, and our floodplains also give us +1 appeal. We had a pretty rough start. We managed to get into a war with our good friend Spain, and the war actually went pretty reasonably well for me. We are in another normal age in the medieval era, and we have yet to finish a single preserve, and we are going for a very preserve-heavy game here. That is the plan, that is the play, that is the goal. And we need to get to work. So I think in terms of our dedication, I think our main goal here is to just try to get some free era score. So I'll do that. I will also, I don't know why I promoted Moksha. That is actually a mistake. That was meant to be Reina in the city of Memphis. So I actually totally messed up there. Moksha isn't particularly useful in this game, and I super regret picking him. At the very least, when we get our audience chamber, we might get some value out of that. I'm currently on 5 cities, and I think this city is actually super low value, so this is pretty low in my totem pole. But if I could squeeze out like 1, 2, 3, 4, if I could get 5 more cities, I think we would be in great shape. So I think that's the objective. So I'm going to go ahead and plan my empire and then tell you what I've done. All right, so I have planned out 4 cities. I've got 1 more city up here, another city here, and a city here, and a city here. So that's 4 more cities. If I could hit those 4, I think we're really, really happy. Our main objective is to get to conservation as soon as possible, so we'll need to start pumping culture really, really hard here soon. So I definitely want to crush great riders if at all possible, and I would like Spain to generate extra grievances so they don't really want to declare war on me. Unfortunately, it looks like I was targeted with that, which is fine because that actually manages to serve the function that I was hoping it would. Let's go ahead and get mutual open borders with Spain. And this is for the purpose of exploring and potentially finding more players. We will be starting to generate tourism in the not too distant future. And in order to generate tourism against a player, you do have to have met them. I genuinely believe we're not going to win this game. Just to like mentally prepare you for the outcome that's coming. I do not believe that this is a winnable game. I'm going to give it my best shot, and I'm going to see what I can pull off. But I think my start was just, I'm bad at playing the preserve gameplay. I think that's what it really comes down to. I'm going to inject a bunch of gold into Memphis to get its granary and watermill up faster so that I can get the preserve faster, because I'm not going to be doing much chopping this game. I'm basically trying to play a harmonizer role. Maybe I should have used the harmony secret society. So I think somebody implemented a secret society that's entirely around that. Maybe I should have done that. I don't know. I wanted to see if, because I've never really actually managed to fully commit to a build like this, where you absolutely do not build any infrastructure. And so I wanted to see how viable or how bad it is, basically. And right now it doesn't feel particularly good, but that doesn't mean that it's terrible. How you feel about how a game is going, and also it's just really useful tech to learn and do this. I mean, we have a ton of faith banked. We don't really have anything we can use our faith on, so it's not the end of the world because we didn't hit any golden ages. I do think the optimal thing would be to chop out like a couple settlers, or just generally I should be chopping. But I'll wait until after feudalism. I should be chopping out settlers at the least to accelerate my build a little bit. Also, I totally messed up in Memphis and put the preserve on the wrong tile, which I mean, I guess this frees up a few tiles over here for like more Sphinx. It's not the end of the world. Right, there's engineering. Very nice. We're very happy with that. We probably don't need apprenticeship the game. We don't really care about much. It's probably good to have machinery just to be protected. I'm going to put a settler into this city and I'm going to chop it out. I do have the settler card plugged in. I do. So I'll just chop that out a little bit faster. I don't mind if that hurts my culture a smidge. That's fine. Right, there's feudalism. We can go ahead and plug in serfdom. And now any builders we get will be a lot better. They will be 5 charges, so I'll probably buy like 1 or 2 builders as time goes on here, just to get the basic like plantations and stuff online. But aside from that, I think we're quite happy with how things are going. We definitely want to get to Reformed Church, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that and start breaking our way over there. 1,000-year flood, looks like 7 tiles just got fertilized. Isn't that just beautiful? So we do have some things going in our favor. It's not what I would consider to be one of my best runs though. Let's found the city. Now the city will have negative loyalty, but we do have a Moksha that we can pop in there, so I guess that's fine. Kind of worked out that we did that. Let's go ahead and buy a builder in here. Oh, I can't quite afford it until next turn. That is totally reasonable. We met another player that we can start generating tourism pressure against in the near future. Swinet has its granary. There's a few tiles we can improve, but these tiles don't need to be improved until later in the game. I would like to place the preserve. I'd like to build the harbour. If we could get mausoleum, that would be fantastic. Let's go ahead and purchase the watermill to give the city +1 production as well as a little bit of food. I'm going to tell it to focus on food and production, just so it works those as a priority. I might swap this tile over to supercharge the city's growth so it could work more tiles. I'll even give it this tile as well. And then hopefully we can get the harbour in a reasonable amount of turn. I don't really have anything to sell, which means I don't really have much of a use for builders, honestly. So there's probably, like, I just actually don't have much use for builders. Everyone seems to like me, which I'm quite happy about. So I'm going to get a whole bunch of friendships here. I mean, Spain, even Spain, who, like, literally declared war on me not too long ago, is enjoying my company. Oh, we found Nader Shah. Nice to meet you. A lot of high culture civs in this game right now, which is making me slightly uncomfortable. Oh, my galley just got murdered by that goddamn tribal village. Should have survived, but it didn't. That's the way the cookie crumbles. I'll get open borders with the Aztecs so I can pop in there and start having a look around. I mean, I'm actually, surprisingly, I'm not that far behind when it comes to culture and science when you consider the civs other than the civs that are ahead. Like, when you look at, like, the average civ, I'm not that far behind the average civ. Nice, we got our first discovery from the medieval era. It looks like we picked up apprenticeship. We won't really have any mines this game, but it might be useful. Picking up niter will allow us to have another tile that would potentially be slightly improved because niter will appear on it. Not that we'll actually build a mine, but it will be slightly improved, which, you know, slight improvements, small victories. We shall settle our next city, and then that is this city handled. You literally don't need anything, so we'll just go monument first. It's insane to me to think that in my Sundiata Kita game, I was winning the game in 40 turns from now. And right now, my build is only beginning to like turn on, if that makes sense. Like, I'm only now getting to build like key infrastructure, like the Grove. I would like the Grove ASAP. +1 food, +2 faith to all adjacent tiles. It'll take 15 turns for a Grove, which feels like an eternity, and that's because it is. At least by human reckoning. Now, my hope is, right, that we're going to suffer pretty hard, but there will be a massive payoff for this build later on in the game. Take a look at Shadet. I could do lumber mills. I don't think I will. I think I would rather stand here and maybe buy that tile and then look to chop to accelerate that city slightly. I'm going to step here, settle the horses. I will go for the harbour in here for the trade route, but first I will get the granary, the monument, and the watermill. Boom, boom, boom. Build up the city's power. I'm going to go ahead and buy a galley in this city to keep the city safe. I'll put another envoy into a city state to get +1 science per turn. You're heading south to help defend. If we take a look at Akhenaten, the city has built basically all of its basic stuff, so we're just going to go ahead and put a turn into an ancient walls while we wait for the preserve tile to be unlocked. Ooh, this is a bit of a murder fire. Interesting. Not a fan of the murder fire myself. The preserve is coming up. That's going to be huge poggers. The main thing we need, though, we need to get those groves out. Once the groves are out, that's when the game changes. All right, huge. Let's go ahead and forward settle towards this guy. I will go ahead and get my monument, my granary, and my watermill to allow these cities to build up their power level. Takes about 100 turns to get those. I mean, the city will go faster. Apologies, I will look elsewhere. So I have no more plans to settle. I've settled all of my cities. This is my empire, and now I need to squeeze every last bit of yield out of it. So I'm going to be building groves. I'm going to be building groves like in droves. So what do I really need here? Really just wall tech to give my city something to do after they have their groves. I would like to extend my trade route further east. So I think trading with Zaragoza would potentially allow me to trade further east. In a perfect world, I would get a second trade route to this guy. But that's fine. I can currently trade with 3 players, potentially 4. So that's a ton of extra tourism pressure that we can look forward to rather. That we have to look forward to. I think that's the phrase I was trying to say. Audience chamber is up, so now we're at +4 amenities. Do we need to buy amenities? No, it looks like we're clean on amenities right now. I really want my capital city to grow to 10 population so I can get my preserve in here. So I'll go ahead and get the watermill. Swinet managed to get started on the mausoleum. It's going to be a fairly slow mausoleum, but I have high hopes that we can get it. Granary and watermill in Shadet so that we can continue to grow these cities. If we have to focus on getting as many pops as possible so we can actually work the tiles that we're unlocking. I'm going to take forestry management on Reina. This will give +2 gold for each unimproved feature in the city, and unimproved features will gain +1 appeal in this city. That'll be incredibly useful in Memphis, although potentially we might need to move that around. Akhenaten might be the city that we put her in later. For now, though, I think she works in Memphis. Yeah, I think it works there for now. So do I have any more people I need to meet? I need to meet one more person so that I can start generating tourism against them. Let's go ahead and chop here. I'll let you finish that watermill. I'll go ahead and place the preserve. I'm a little bit sad that I'm only getting to place my preserves right now, but my gold was just tied up. I wish I'd been able, like if I had more of a sim game, it would have been really nice. But sometimes you just have to play the hand you're dealt. Nice. There's guilds. There's nothing particularly in here that we care too much about because we don't have much jungle inside of our empire. So we don't need to get Chichen Itza. We don't need to get anything else. We could go for the watermill. Theatre Square. We have the watermill. We could go for the diplomatic quarter. I think I'd like to get my theatre square so I could start getting a little bit of tourism. We have managed to finish the grove and now the city actually looks like it, is doing things. Unfortunately, I wish I had that so much earlier into the game, But yeah, now let's go ahead and get some builders and see if we can make sure that we're getting maximum optimization on these. So we want every single tile that's adjacent to our preserve to be getting the 2 food, 2 culture, and 2 faith so that we can work them and optimize. So builders are going to be a big part of that. I'm going to take tax collector on Reina for even more gold per turn. And if we can get 1 more governor title, we might be able to shuffle her around. And actually, yeah, I will go for medieval fairs because then I can shuffle her around and I can buy out my preserves so I don't have to hard build them. Although that might not be necessary. I might leave that off because I'm not going to be building many districts, so that ability seems like a bit of a waste rather than just getting another governor who can allow my cities to continue to grow. It'd be nice if ranged units were slightly stronger, and it would be nice if trade city-states were slightly better to trade with. Those are the abilities that I'm quite happy to pick. Oh, baby, scientific city-states won that vote. Well, that's fine. I'll throw... No, I need a Sphinx on this tile right here to make this tile have the full food, culture, and faith. But once we have Reformed Church, we're basically beelining conservation then. Nice, first theatre square with high adjacency. We're probably going to be heading into a Dark Age. I don't think I can deal with a Dark Age, so I need some era score. Stat. Whatever, we'll live. We'll live. So theatre square completed in Racket Debt. Let's get the Diplo quarter up. Drop a Sphinx right here. That'll boost up the appeal, so now this tile is giving out the maximum chooch, which means huge amounts of growth. The city will start to spam out a ton of population. We also got our grove over here in Iwin, and I need at least 1 Sphinx right here. So we'll quickly pop out a builder. And I'm okay with building these builders because these guys will have use later on in the game, even if I don't use all their charges. It's not the end of the world. Let's grab ourselves Liang, I guess, and put her into Iwin for the extra population and the extra amenities. I think we're doing pretty good. Let's make sure we buy luxuries. They're quite cheap to buy and they're quite expensive to sell, so we do like that. Any horse enjoyers? No, actually not, sadly. Speaking of horses, in the D&D campaign that we're playing, by the way, totally go check out youtube.com, save or die. Is it save _ die? Whatever. More people will put it on screen and there might be a link in the description. But we did our session 0 of Dungeons and Dragons, the new campaign that we're doing. It's all, televised on YouTube. It'll be live streamed. And I managed to save a horse from a shipwreck. I managed to save my horse Scamp from a shipwreck in D&D. Dude, it was so amazing. I genuinely thought that I would just never get the horse out. But I rolled just good enough to get him out. And now I got a goddamn horse. And I'm super hyped about it. But how useful will the horse be? I don't know. I just thought I did what my character would do, right? He wouldn't care about his earthly possessions. He doesn't really care for that. But his horse, he's been with his horse a long time, okay? He raised him from a foal. He's a cute little pupper of a horse. But yeah, go check it out. It'll be streamed every Wednesday at 8:30 EST. There'll be links and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, come check it out. It's a lot of fun. We had a great time, and we will hopefully continue to have great times. I think we will. We got a good group going. It was really funny. There's a YouTube short up. Maybe it'll be linked to, or maybe I'll pin a comment with the YouTube short. But it was a beautiful, beautiful moment, and I'm really happy that Koibu, the DM, Neil, he let me do it. He let me get the goddamn horse out, and I could not be happier as a result. There we go. +1 era score for reaching 10 population, as well as divine right. This is monarchy. Do we want to go for a monarchy game? I think we can do monarchy and then transition to theology. I think monarchy actually suits us a little bit better. So let's take retainers. We definitely want to take advantage of that. We want to do liberalism eventually. But for now, we can take out colonization. Probably should have taken that out a while ago. We want to have Republican legacy. And so that's 2 amenities per city, plus 1 more amenity we can get in a little bit. And I'll take 6 gold from conscription. I'm happy with this. We probably don't need the builder card in all honesty. But on the other hand, we really don't have much in the way of better cards to play. I suppose Merchant Confederation is 6 gold per turn. That's not bad. We are in a Dark Age, which will make my life a little bit more difficult. Shadeth is ever so slightly negative on loyalty, but it is growing and other cities around it are growing, so that loyalty should be fine. In terms of Golden Ages, I think Monumentality is the only really one that we can make do with here. Let's go for the Grove. I could buy the Grove. Boom. I bought the Grove, so we definitely need a little bit of appeal on some of these tiles. I think part of the way that we solve that is if we buy some tiles. Can I sell anything? Any buyers of goods and services? Here we go. So if I buy this tile, that'll be a little bit of appeal. If I get a Sphinx on this tile and a Sphinx on this tile, that'll be fully funded in terms of the giga yields. So we're starting to put together a really interesting empire. We're up to 70 culture per turn and 60 science, which is honestly not that far off most of the AI, except for the outlier players like Ethiopia that's gone hog wild. I think we're in a semi-competitive place. So we have siege tactics. We can get fully to work on Renaissance walls. I don't even really know what we should be researching. I don't really need anything in here, like at all. I mostly care about getting to conservation to get sanctuaries and naturalists. Like that's it. That's really all I care about. Very, very nice yields starting to come online. We're up to 80 culture per turn, and that's going to continue to get better, hopefully. I'm going to pop down another Sphinx over here in Akatate then, and look at those yields start to pop off, my guy. We're up to 90 culture, 90 faith per turn, and we're already starting to get our walls up. I should really have Limes plugged in if I'm going to be doing wall stuff. Is there a cheap thing? I'm going to pick up military training so I can switch in wall thing. I probably should have had that in already, realistically. So I got my amphitheater in Raqqa Death. I do think I want my consulate, but I would rather get my Grandmaster's Chapel or my Intelligence Agency. Intelligence Agency could be handy to steal gold, but the Grandmaster's Chapel allows me to actually defend myself. But I may go for the Preserve first. I'll place the Preserve first at least. I think getting my Preserves up actually is where all of my yields come from, so I'm going to go for my Preserves because I just don't have yields if I don't go for them. It would be nice to be Suzerain of Geneva. I'm going to see if I can yoink that. And actually it revealed some more city-states, which I'm quite happy with. So I think it's a pretty damn good outcome for me. I do love to see my entire empire in this beautiful solid green color. There's a few little patches here or there, but otherwise we're mostly maxed out. I'm going to go ahead and buy the grove in here. And now these tiles, these are disgusting. These are genuinely disgusting tiles. The build does seem to be coming online a little bit, which is fantastic. The extra happiness is going to be just so amazing when we actually hit that point. Right, let's go ahead into here. Diplomatic service, we have chanceries. I'm going to pop out conscription. I'm going to pop in 100% production towards walls. And I'm going to try to make sure I don't have crossbow tech yet, do I? No, so I'm going to go ahead and get scouts in all my cities. Scouts are really, really cheap. 120 gold for +1 amenity. And that +1 amenity will hold for a decent amount of time. I'll be able to get 2 more after selling tobacco to Norway. So a scout in here. I want a scout in my capital as well. Amenities. We're just going to try and put a scout in every city so that we can benefit from the retainers card right here. Time to come to choose our next civic. And when I pop in here, we have diplomatic service. We don't need reformed church until we hit conservation. So it's probably going to be conservation into reformed church. It's going to be bam, bam. Now, technically, we would get more faith if we went for theocracy. However, I think the value of getting my Renaissance walls up and being able to benefit from those is like really, really hard to pass up because it's +2 diplo favor per turn. That's a huge amount of gold. That's a huge amount of resources, a huge amount of potential. I am going to put a Sphinx here, even though I will need to delete it later, purely so that I can get this extra tile be improved. And like my culture and faith right now is genuinely beautiful. We're up over 120 and it's only been a few turns since we last checked in. Like my culture has voomfed straight vertical. This is like very much so the style of Civ that I used to play, where I would expand a bunch and then my empire would accelerate. Whereas now I try to play much more for tempo these days, where my gameplay takes off early into the game. Right, so I think the amenities are the most important thing for me to get my hands on because there's potentially a lot of yields behind amenities. Like we have 1 ecstatic city and 8 happy cities. So we just got banking, and I think our main goal is to just efficiently get up through the tech tree to computers if we can. So, well, I think actually the real meme is if we get steel and we can get the Eiffel Tower, our game just becomes like absolutely insane. Unfortunately, I don't think I actually have an Eiffel Tower location. Has to be on flat land adjacent to a city centre. I didn't actually plan for that. I think the best place to build it will be my capital. So I'm just going to move the capital's national park here up to the left slightly. And eventually I will crush this tile for the Eiffel Tower. It's not ideal, but it's what I have to do. I don't have the detailed appeal mod anymore. I might download it between this and the next episode. But if I did have the detailed appeal lens, oh my god, dude, like imagine the like numbers you would see here. If you don't know what the detailed appeal mod does, basically what it does is it rather than just showing you a color of the tile, it also shows you the actual number of appeal that the tile has. Like it actually writes the number down. So let's go ahead and this is one of my last preserves to go up. And what I'm doing now is I'm preserving all of my 1-charge builders so that I can do a very, very fast forest plantation when the time comes. And I'm banking all of my faith. It's just all banked up. Walls are going up. We just got the preserve in the capital. We will go and get the grove. It's a 8-turn production. I'm going to go ahead and grab myself a scout in here. Medieval walls in Memphis. Let's go ahead and get the Renaissance walls. This will be worth +2 diplomatic favor and eventually +2 science. So that'll help us limp into the late game here. I'm kind of running out of things to build in my cities though, which is slightly concerning. So I'll have to find gaps in my empire where I can slap down maybe a couple of districts. So there's Mausoleum, +1 science, +1 faith, +1 culture, and all coast tiles for this city. More importantly, it means that if there's maybe a couple of great engineers that I want, it makes a lot more sense for me to try to yoink them. Like if I could get Filippo Brunelleschi or Gustav Eiffel, that would be huge. I'll go for the lighthouse in here next. I want that trade route, and then I'll go for the preserve. I'm going to go ahead and declare friendship with every civ that I can. And then I will also go through and declare open borders with every civ that I can in the hopes that the extra, the extra tourism will pay off in the long run for my empire. It won't be a huge amount of gold, but it'll be a little bit, or it won't be a huge amount of tourism. Well, actually, 25% against every civ, that's actually pretty damn decent. The nice thing about this game is there's actually not a whole lot of actions I need to take on a turn-by-turn basis. I mostly just have to tell the cities to like keep working. But there's actually not much I'm doing because I'm mostly biding my time for conservation, which is like 25, 26, it's like 35 turns away. Like, we genuinely don't care about any of this stuff. Like, great writers, who cares? Last time people voted for scientific city-states, so I'll put a couple of votes into that to see if that works. I seem to be just getting like a ton of gold from somewhere, and I don't understand why. Does anyone know why my gold is shooting up? Am I crazy? I think I'm crazy. My gold just keeps like shooting up out of nowhere. Is there like some bug I'm experiencing here that's just like shrekking? I will need to eventually I will need to get suzerainty of Venice eventually, take it over, and retool this landscape. But for now, it's fine. So the trade route to here is fine. Now I want to trade with another slightly further away city, not Teo. I want something a little bit shorter, like maybe Texcoco. If I trade with Texcoco, in 60 turns, I'll be able to trade with Persia because I'll be able to bounce. My trader is essentially bouncing through these trading posts here along the way. This is why I still think this is why traders should move faster, in my opinion. I'll trade with Teo. Sure, why not? It's worth slightly more, and it's a slightly longer trade route, but it's not that much longer. We will want at least 7 trade routes this game so that we can send a trade route to every player in the game. So that's going to be part of the objective. I need to start getting a trade route up towards the direction of Portugal. That's going to be part of our establishing goals. We did manage to get the Grove in the capital, and this is maxed out now, so that's really, really, really nice. Memphis is popping off. I'm going to take a tile away from Memphis and give it to Apu, so the city can just have a slightly better time. Yeah, we're up to 135 culture. I'm going to get an archaeological museum, probably an art museum. Archaeological is better for the late game, I think. Lighthouse completed in Swinet. I'm going to go ahead and buy myself a trader. And in Swinet, I'm going to get started on the preserve. Renaissance walls are up here in Akitaten. Do I have room? Could I maybe squeak in a theatre square? I could probably squeak in an entertainment complex. Let's go ahead and look at the city overlap mode. We do have a ton of 6 city overlaps. We could get a 6 city entertainment complex right here, which would be pretty good. We are going to have infinite amenities, so maybe a theatre square would be better. I do lose this really, really nice tile, but getting theatre squares for Great Works will give me a lot of baseline tourism. I think this is a reasonable thing to do. Plus, theatre squares actually increase adjacent appeal. I'm willing to sacrifice some of my tiles in the name of the king. No, in the name of my goals. Hashtag goals. Like this tile over here, this can totally be crushed for another theatre square. Alternatively, I could start pre-building builders, but I do think that a few theatre squares is not a bad move. I should at least get 3. So I want to trade with Oslo, ideally. In a perfect world, I would actually go send a unit to explore up there. Can I afford to buy a horseman? No, I would need to buy a courser. What about a scout? No, unfortunately, I don't have scouts as an option anymore. Can I make some money here? I sell some stuff off. Maybe I can make a bit of cash. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and buy a courser to send up here through Norway's land so I can find a route to Portugal. I'm going to hold on to this trader for a little while. So there's colonialism, giving us access to colonial taxes and a few other key things. Most importantly, it leads towards natural history, which is on our pathway. It would be nice to start building a relationship with Vilnius. I don't think Nazca or any of these really stand out to me. Yeah, I think the only one who stands out is Vilnius. So I'll go ahead and take suzerainty of Vilnius. Plus, that'll also explore the map slightly for me, potentially scoring me a little bit of era score. But my hope is that this next phase of the game for me, when I reach conservation, is going to be insanely explosive. Episode 1 was setting up our empire, surviving, staying alive. Episode 2, so far, has been all about like solidifying our control. And I think episode 3 will be about the explosion that happens between me and your mom. No, but my empire. I am really curious if I could do another playthrough as her. I really want to buy this tile right here because this is actually national parkable. The sheer amount of national park potential in my empire is kind of actually blowing my mind. This actually doesn't feel that bad either. Like this doesn't feel like, this kind of feels like this build is working, which is the bit that's blowing my goddamn mind. I don't think I've ever seen the AI's border grow like this before. They must have bought that tile. I would love to squeak in a district here. Where can I squeak in a district? I can't, so I'll just start pre-building builders. The Renaissance era ends in 10 turns. I'm still looking for a better Norwegian city to trade with. I'm worried that Oslo might be under siege. I'm just going to take the trade with Oslo because that'll at least bounce my city within range of a Portuguese city in the future, if I can get that up. And I don't think the city is going to fall. Watermill completed in Apu. This is a harbour city. Just get me another trade route. This is probably my least valuable city, unfortunately. It's not a useless city, it's just my least valuable. I'm also going to start banking gold so that I can buy the sanctuary. Every sanctuary that I buy will increase how quickly I can buy the next sanctuary. So I'll try to do like a little bit of mapping out to see what the optimal way to get all my sanctuaries will be. We'll have to do some mapping out in the start of the next episode. Bro, I listened to like one Sabaton song, Primo Victoria, and then that song is firmly lodged into my brain. Super lodged into my brain. That's all it takes, just 1 or 2 Sabaton songs, and you're running around singing the gates of hell. Okay, so we just got natural history because we finished the archaeological museum, which feels really, really good. I'm going to go and get my Grandmaster's Chapel now. That seems quite important. I'm banking gold. I'm building my groves. Everything is coming up mill house. I'm definitely a little bit behind on builder production, but it ain't so bad. I'm starting to get a few theatre squares up, so we might be able to, at least, we might not earn any great writers or anything like that, but we might be able to buy some, squeak some out, increase our tourism. We're up to 11 tourism per turn. I cannot wait for the tourism explosion. We are setting up for what is going to be one of the most explosive, preserve-based late games that I've ever seen. Literally ever. Here we go. The Renaissance era ends, and thankfully we're in another normal age. People's yields are starting to go off the chain, but so will mine. There's printing, so our great works of writing, when we manage to get some, will be better. I'm going to go ahead and take Heartbeat of Steam. I think that does apply. Yep, it does apply to the Sanctuary, so that's +1 era score per city at the very least. Potentially more, depending on what else we can build. My population level is kind of insane right now. We'll probably want to build entertainment complexes in the late game to benefit from the stadium as well. Let's go ahead and buy all the luxuries so that we can secure better happiness in our cities. Go ahead and build your grove, good sir. My borders are expanding like madness. We will have to shuffle tiles inside our empire at some point in the near future. Ooh, major flood, big damage. Although to be fair, I'm immune from the flooding, so I don't care. Another grove is completed. This one is slightly lower appeal. We can fix that, I think, once we have our forests up. So I wouldn't be worrying about that. We've got a huge amount of banked Diplo favor thanks to our Renaissance walls. And we're about to get 6 tourism per city on average, as well as an insane number of national parks. I am so unbelievably hype. And what I love about this too is my builders are super cheap, so I build them really, really fast. Another grove comes up, giving us really amazing tiles over here. Imagine if I had these earlier in the game. Maybe rushing the grove is the play. I don't know. I think maybe settling's the play. I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell what the right move is here. I definitely feel like we can get a theatre square in here, but I'd like to crack out a builder first. And here we go. This is the moment of truth. This is where we unlock conservation. And next turn, we will unlock Reformed Church, Theocracy, and we can start buying buying naturalists for a 15% discount. That doesn't sound like much, but it compounds to the point where you can buy so many goddamn naturalists. We immediately hit 38 tourism per turn, and shit is about to go bananas. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.